You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome to the Sporting Time Show. I hope you had a fantastic district basketball week. Doug Thompson here alongside me, Taryn Johnson. Taryn, it seems like it has been forever since you and I did this show.
It really has, Doug. It's been a long week.
It has. It's like 14-hour days.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a lot of fun. But Taryn and I are going to break down district basketball the best we can. Now, at the time of our taping, not all the district brackets were filled in.
Yes, sir.
However, the crystal ball that I had last week, which you gave me my selections, were pretty close, and we'll go over those in a few minutes.
Really strong. Really strong by you, Doug.
But before we get to that, we want to talk a little bit about high school football. A big announcement was made midweek about the new hire at Warren Central High School, Coach Mark Nelson. What a great hire. He's going to be on the show. He's going to be our guest today.
Yes, sir. Really looking forward to that interview, Doug.
I cannot wait to talk to Coach. And, you know, he is a player's coach. How do you describe Coach Nelson? Well, he's great X's and O's, but he is an unbelievable communicator with young student athletes. They are going to learn so much, Taryn, not only about the game of football, but just so much from Coach Nelson. I am super excited.
Yeah, Doug. You know, that's what it's all about. At the level that Warren Central is at, being able to teach the kids just the fundamentals of the game and starting. It's not going to be an overnight process, but getting a guy like Coach Nelson in to be able to kind of build back that program is really strong. It's a fantastic hire, and I can't wait to see how he does at Warren Central.
Yeah, and I can't wait to ask him about his coaching staff. But one thing about Coach Nelson, he's forward thinking. He's going to look forward. He doesn't care about what's happened in the past there.
Yep.
He doesn't want his players to worry about what's happened in the past. It's full speed ahead for the Dragons, and I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Yeah, with Coach Nelson, it's not about what's happened in the past, which that's the type of coach I feel like that you need if you're Warren Central, Doug. So really interested to see how he works out there, and can't wait, to see how they do in the fall.
Yeah, and on the basketball front, a very close friend of the Sporting Times and of the show, Coach Brandon Combs announced that he is stepping down as the head basketball coach at Warren East. He has been a head basketball coach for 11 seasons. He is also the athletic director. He is also a teacher. And he basically said, I just need to recharge.
Yeah.
It's a grind.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And to do it as long as he has done it, Doug, especially, those years add up, stack up on top of each other. And, especially with the type of season that we've had this year, I completely understand and don't blame him whatsoever for stepping aside.
And he's worked really, really hard on developing that program. And whoever steps into that position is going to get a very good team next year. They're young, they're very athletic, but we're very excited to see what happens, and we want to wish Coach Combs the best of luck. We will see him coaching again. You can mark that down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can book
I
it.
agree.
Listen, let's move on to the girls' district tournament. And last week I predicted Franklin Simpson, Russellville in the 13th, Bowling Green, Warren Central in the 14th, Barron County, Glasgow in the 15th, and in the 16th, Russell County, Metcalfe County. Well, Barron County, Glasgow, move on. I got that right. Russell County and Metcalfe County, move on. I got that right.
Yes, sir.
Franklin Simpson and Bowling Green, I got half of that bracket correct. But listen to this. Russell County, the Lady Lakers, have been 13 out of the last 14 years, they have been in the championship game, district game, 13 times.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. That's consistent success right there by the Lady Lakers. You love to see it. You love to see that in the 16th district. And once again, we see them there, Doug. It's fantastic.
Real quick, Russellville plays Logan County in the girls' side. Russellville won big in the first game of the regular season. Second game, they won by 1 point. I've got them moving on, but it's going to be a nail-biter.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Doug. I think so, too. But that's going to be one heck of a game to go to the region tournament. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting. And lastly, our Girls Player of the Week is Star Markham from Russell County. This is a young lady who averages 14.2 points per game. She put up 22 points in the opening district game for Russell County and got them to the next round, to the championship game. So congratulations to Star Markham. When we come back, I'm gonna speak with Coach Mark Nelson, and then in the last segment, you and I will talk a little bit about the 14th district, 15th, 16th, and 13th boys district tournament. It's going to be exciting. Stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Sporting Times right after a short break. Welcome back. My first guest, well, listen, in the midst of high school basketball, we're going to pivot to a little high school football. My first guest was a head coach 9 seasons at Greenwood High School. He started the South Warren Spartans football program, went on to be an assistant coach at Portland, Tennessee for 7 seasons. He is back in South Central Kentucky as the head coach of the Warren Central Dragons. I'm excited to bring on to the show Coach Mark Nelson. Coach, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's an exciting time. It's a whirlwind, trying to get all the paperwork done and get your coaches' paperwork done. And finally, hopefully by Monday, we'll be able to work with those kids and get started into this new season.
You know, I saw the press release yesterday, and I was very excited because I had the opportunity to watch you coach at Greenwood and South Warren. And I know what those student athletes are in for as you as a head coach. And just talk a little bit about the future, some of the things that you want to accomplish as you begin as the head coach at Warren Central.
Well, I met with the kids yesterday, and I told them the first thing we're going to do is fundamentals, tackling and blocking. I got to see them last year against Warren East, and I got to see them a little bit on film. And, the tackling was, it wasn't terrible, but if we can, get better at tackling and better at blocking and sustaining drives, that's a big physical part of the game. And those are 2 things that we're going to work on. They're going to get sick and tired of tackling and blocking drills. And we'll do those every day at the beginning of practice. And then the second thing is the mental part of the game. And I noticed that there was a lot of penalties, a lot of fumbles, interceptions, and stuff like that. And that's, you got to cut down those interceptions and fumbles, and then cut down on those penalties, because I saw some really nice plays, 20-yard plays, 15-yard plays, and they got negated by 15-yard holding penalties. So I know you're going to get penalties, but you got to be in that game mentally and know that you can't get do that kind of stuff.
I remember when you were at South Warren, and of course the first year they had a JV program, but the second year of varsity there was a 7v7. Brandon Phillips and I were there watching, and these kids were raw. They needed to learn the basics as well. But one of the things that impressed us, listening to you talk to your players, kind of talk a little bit about the approach that you have when communicating with student athletes.
Well, the first thing is, get a relationship with them, and that's individual. I got to know their names. I got to know their position. I got to know how they, can be coached up, and know that every individual is different the way you coach them. So I think that's first thing I want to do is get to know them and know their good side and their bad side, and what drives them, because everybody's driven by something different. But back at South Warren, I got to tell you, it was the coaching staff that we had at South Warren. You just let them guys go, and they were so good with those kids, and that program keeps on thriving today under Brandon Smith, and those coaches that I had back then, unbelievable.
Yeah, certainly amazing. Coach, we've got just a few more seconds left in this segment. I do want to ask you, and we can start about your assistant coaches. I know you've already started working on them. We've got about 30 seconds left. Give me the first couple, then we'll come back and talk about some others.
Well, I'm bringing on 4 fellows with me, and right now, and I'm going to do some others. But the first 2 hearts of these gentlemen are Warren Central, and one of those is Joe Hood, who coached back in the 70s and 80s and took that program to the state. He's coming back, and he's going to be bringing how much he loves the program. Great coach. He'll be able to talk to those kids. And then a second coach that I'm bringing back in is Walter York. Walter played in the early 70s and 80s, and of course became captain of West Kentucky University. And he coached with me through Greenwood and South Warren, and he loves the Dragons. And he is one that wants to see them succeed.
Well, Coach, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, more with the new Warren Central head coach, Mark Nelson, just after a short break. We'll be right back.
You're watching the Sporting Time Show on WNKY 40.
All right, welcome back, Coach Nelson. You started to tell me about Coach Hood, Coach York, great Warren Central traditional coaches, been there, won there. Who else do you have that you're going to be bringing on as your staff?
Well, Greg Kavanaugh, who coached with me at Greenwood, and then when I left to go to South Warren, he became the head coach, and then he retired. And I've been coaching under Greg down in Portland for the last 7 years. And I got to tell you, working under Greg was phenomenal. Getting away from being a head coach for a while is kind of refreshing, because as a head coach, you have guys that you have 40, 50, 60 guys, and you're trying to, coach them all.
Right.
But the assistant coach gets his guys. He gets his, 20 linemen, or he gets his 7, 8 receivers, or whatever. So being an assistant coach and having guys that could come and talk to me, and they were just my guys, that was refreshing to have back there. And Greg brings a lot of great football knowledge with him. And then my other coach I'm bringing is Bert Stinson. And Coach Stinson was with me at Greenwood and all the way through South Warren, and then he even came back for 2 years at Portland down there. So he coached with us down there in Portland for 2 years, and then he came back and he's been with South. So I've been with these guys I've got on our coaching staff for quite a long time, or I've known them forever.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting. Great staff, Coach. I want to ask you, how do you go about getting the student athletes at Central to come out to the football program? Because there's a lot more choices today than there were when you started back in Greenwood and before. But how do you get those kids interested back into that program?
Well, that's a great question, because today I'm going to go over and sit at Central and be in the hallways, and I want to be there just so the kids can see me if they've got questions. If I see somebody in the hallway that I think might be able to help us out, I'm gonna introduce myself and ask them, what do you do athletically here at the school, and try to get them to play football. I know right now, the basketball team is in the district, and they're playing. Those kids, there were 49 kids at the meeting yesterday. Wow. And basketball kids that want to play football were not there because they're out of school right now, online, out of school. And then there were, I think, 300 kids that are online students, so they're not in the building. So there were quite a few kids not at the meeting. So, I'm thinking with everybody coming back to school and the school's fully open, I would see about 50, 60 kids, and that would be a great number. And that doesn't even count the 8th graders that are going to be 9th grade.
How exciting is it for you to be back up here and to go through this process of really rebuilding a program?
I want to not build. I don't want to build. I think they've got the kids to be a good football team. I just want to coach them up. I don't think that, like I said, I don't think rebuild's the word I want to use. I want them to look to the future. I want them to get to know their coaches, and I want them to be coachable, and I want them to understand, you're going to do great things, and then you're going to do some things probably that you might get yelled at for, but that's a part of coaching. And so I want these kids to understand, at the end of the day, we're going to put our arms around them. And I asked them to do 3 things for me. And one thing was that I want them to work every day, weight room, practice every day like it's a game day. And then the second thing is they never quit. And so no matter how things are, we're going to make it tough on them in the weight room, and they're going to be sore, and they're going to be hurting, and they're going to want to say, I can't do this anymore. I want to see guys that fight through that pain, and I want to see guys not quit. And the third thing I want them to do is love each other. And they're a team. They're in that room together. They're the only ones they got. They got the support outside, but they're the football team, and they've got to take care of each other. So when a coach gets on them, or they fumble, or they make a mistake, jump off sides, they got to actually help each other out, and they got to say good job, because there's going to be coaches correcting them.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, congratulations. We are super pumped. I know that you got probably hundreds and hundreds of well-wishers, but thank you very much. We've run out of time. I will catch up with you later. Thanks, Coach Nelson.
Thank you for having me, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you, Coach.
Because I know we're going to.
Absolutely. All right, thank you, Coach Nelson. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Taryn Johnson and I wrap things up right here on the Sporting Time Show. We'll be right back. Well, I'm super pumped. Anytime you have a chance to talk football,
oh, yes.
Right, year round. But Coach Nelson, man, what a star-studded lineup he has for coaching. Kavanaugh, Coach Hood, Coach York.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be fantastic. Thank you again, Coach Nelson, for joining us. Look forward to having you back on the show. High school basketball on the boys' side, Taryn, man, some fireworks early on in the 13th district. Franklin Simpson moves on. I did not get this right. I had Logan County kind of upsetting Russellville, but Rooster, Anthony Woodard, did not play.
Yeah.
So maybe you can cut me a little slack. Not making excuses, but he averages 20-some points a game. He was out. But congratulations to Russellville.
I think I can't speak for everybody here. I think we'll give you a pass on that, though, Doug. Yeah.
There was some that will not give me a pass, I guarantee you.
But no lie, Franklin Simpson exploded for 77 points in that first district game. I mean, that was you mentioned fireworks. Fireworks indeed, Doug, but real entertaining basketball. You're right, Russellville pulling the upset there. No Anthony Woodard certainly impacts that game, though, I feel like.
Yeah, and then as we move to the 14th district, at the time of taping, Central and Greenwood have not played. That is going to be an unbelievable matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Either of those teams can win that game. Obviously, one's going to win it, but I had Central nudging out Greenwood. It may not end up that way, but it's all Bowling Green in the lower bracket. They were the number 1 seed. They're number 8 in the state of Kentucky. Mm-hmm. But South Warren came out with a great game plan, right?
Yeah, Doug. Yeah, they've really kind of muddied the waters and kind of messed things up, I guess, for Bowling Green. Bowling Green is a team that likes to get out, run and gun. They like to push the tempo, and South Warren really disrupted that in the first quarter, at least. Really, the first 12, 14 minutes.
7-3.
Yeah, absolutely. South Warren did a great job at executing their game plan the first quarter and a half. But Bowling Green, man, once they got rolling, Doug, that is a locomotive that is hard to stop.
Oh, no question about it. No question. I mean, South Warren slowed that game down so much, we went from a Tuesday game to a Monday game. I mean, we went back in time. But here's the deal. Bowling Green, Turner Butchery hit 3 threes in a row. And then Isaiah Mason hit another 3. And that was the end of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Turner really opened the floodgates for Bowling Green.
Yeah, and he was shooting college three-pointers.
Man, I just don't know. Like, if you're the Spartans, you take away positive things and that you kind of muddied up the game, I guess, in the first quarter and a half. But when you got a guy like Turner Butchery on the other side that is nailing those threes like he did, there's only so much you can do, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that they can beat you through transition, or they can stand outside if you play a zone and they'll hit those threes.
Yeah.
So
it was bombs away for Turner in that game, and Bowling Green really ran away with it.
And he embraces
blew him
that.
out. Oh, he
Turner
does.
loves it.
Absolutely.
I mean, he wants that. But as we move to the 15th district, Brad Bonds in his farewell tour, because he's going to retire from basketball, he's going to go into softball after this. They handled Monroe County quite easily.
Yeah.
But it is Allen County versus Barron County. But wow, have you ever 19 points? Barron County was down in the fourth quarter against Glasgow, and they come back and they win that game in OT.
I mean, you could not write a Hollywood script, a Hollywood movie, any better than what we saw between Barron County and Glasgow.
I mean,
the other night, that was unbelievable.
Right? I mean, we talked about it.
19 points, like in the middle of the fourth quarter. Glasgow's up 19 points, and Barron County comes back and wins.
That's unbelievable.
That's remarkable.
And it's at Glasgow, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about it a week ago. That, man, it's a super rival.
Oh yeah.
And they're playing at Glasgow.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's amazing. So, Coach Cunningham, hats off to you.
Absolutely.
That is the coaching thing of the week. Now, in the 16th, no surprise, really, Clinton County wins that game over Cumberland County. Again, sometimes there's a little letdown after an all-A big run like they had. Mm-hmm. And then Russell County, Metcalfe County squeaks by Russell County there.
Yeah.
And they came back in that game to win it. So the stage is set, for the fourth region, all except
Warren Central and Greenwood.
Yeah, Warren
which
Central.
We'll find that out. Real quick, our boys player of the week, Lennon Rice from Russellville, 16 points versus Logan County. He averages 6.2. So, Lennon, congratulations to you, sir. A fantastic game in that must-win contest.
That's amazing. Congratulations to them. And also, we want to thank our viewers for tuning in every Saturday. Without you and our sponsors, Taryn and I wouldn't be here. So thank you very much. Have a great week. We will see you next week. Region starts. Keep it right here, WNKY NBC 40. Thank you very much. See you next week.